I'm 89 years old, and there's a future I decided I would never accept, not death. That part never scared me. What scared me was disappearing while still breathing. Do you know what a nursing home really is? It's not a place where old people go. It's a place where decisions are taken away, where your name slowly turns into a room number, where your life becomes a schedule designed by strangers. I saw it happen, and I promised myself it would never be my ending. People like to believe that losing independence happens suddenly, that one bad fall changes everything, that age arrives like a storm. That's a comforting lie, because it means you don't have to think about it yet. The truth is much quieter. You don't lose your independence in a day. You lose it in small delays, in things you keep saying you'll handle later. I learned that watching my best friend disappear, not die, disappear. His name was Arthur. We met when we were boys. We grew old together, same jokes, same habits, same stubborn pride. We used to say we'd rather die than be told when to eat. Turns out, it wasn't a joke. Arthur was strong, independent, the kind of man who hated asking for help. He always said, "I'll deal with it when I have to." That sentence followed him to the end. At first, it was small things, a fall he brushed off, a doctor's appointment he postponed, paperwork he didn't want to face, nothing urgent, nothing dramatic. Until one day, his daughter called me. She didn't know what else to do. He had fallen again. This time, there was no tomorrow left to promise. I went to visit him, and that was the moment everything changed for me. The building didn't look cruel from the outside. That's what surprised me. Clean walls, small garden, a bench near the entrance. It looked reasonable. That's how these places defend themselves. They don't look like prisons. They look like solutions. When I walked in, the first thing I noticed wasn't what I saw. It was what I heard. Nothing. No laughter, no argument, no life spilling over. Just the low hum of machines and televisions talking to no one. A woman at the desk asked me who I was there to see. I said Arthur's name. She didn't look up. She checked a screen and said, "Room 214, just a number." Arthur had spent his whole life being a man people listened to. Now his name fit inside a spreadsheet cell. The hallway smelled like disinfectant, sharp, clean, and underneath it, something else, something heavy. I didn't have words for it then. I do now. It smelled like surrender. When I opened the door, I almost didn't recognize him. Not because he looked old, because he looked edited, smaller, quieter, like parts of him had been removed for efficiency. He was sitting in a chair by the window, strapped in, not violently, gently, like you secure something you don't want to deal with moving. He looked at me and smiled. That was the worst part. Not anger, not sadness, acceptance. He said, "They don't like it when I walk on my own. Not I can't. They don't like it." I asked him what happened. He shrugged. That shrug used to mean confidence. Now it meant resignation. He told me about his schedule, when to wake up, when to eat, when to take pills whose names he couldn't pronounce. He said it casually, like he was reading a weather report. I asked him if he'd tried to leave. He laughed, a short laugh, tired, and said, "Where would I go?" That question hit me harder than anything else, because Arthur had lived in the same house for 40 years. But the house wasn't prepared. The paperwork wasn't done. The decisions weren't made. So when he fell, others made them for him. He didn't lose his independence because he was old. He lost it because he waited. As I sat there, I noticed something else. No personal objects, no clutter, no signs of a life lived loudly. Just the basics. A bed, a chair, a television. Everything unnecessary had been removed, including him. I realized then that this wasn't about care. It was about control, efficiency, risk management. You don't get treated like a person here. You get treated like a liability. Arthur leaned closer and lowered his voice, like he was afraid the walls were listening. He said, "Don't wait, not dramatic, not emotional, just urgent." I asked him what he meant. He looked at the window and said, "I thought I had time." That sentence followed me home. It sat with me at night. It replayed when the house was quiet. I saw him a few more times. Each visit, he spoke less. Not because he had nothing to say, because no one expected him to say anything. People don't understand this part. When you stop being asked for your opinion, you start disappearing. Arthur didn't die quickly. That would have been easier. He faded, piece by piece, decision by decision, until there was nothing left to decide. And that's when I understood something terrifying. This wasn't an exception. This was the default ending for people who don't choose early. That night, I sat alone in my kitchen, same table I'd eaten at for decades. Same chair, same silence, but it felt different. I looked around and asked myself a question I'd been avoiding. If this happened to me tomorrow, who would decide my life? I didn't like the answer. So I decided to change it. I didn't go to sleep that night, not because I was afraid, because I was awake for the first time in years. Arthur's voice kept repeating in my head. I thought I had time. People misunderstand this part. I didn't wake up the next morning and suddenly become disciplined. I didn't feel motivated. I felt cornered. And sometimes clarity only arrives when you're backed into a wall. I realized something uncomfortable. Avoiding a nursing home wasn't about strength. It was about ownership. Who owned my decisions? Who would speak for me when I no longer could? Most people think independence is something you lose at the end. It's not. It's something you give away slowly while you're still capable of protecting it. So I did something that felt premature, uncomfortable, almost embarrassing. I acted while I still didn't need to. I started with my house, not because it was falling apart, because I was still strong enough to change it. I added support where pride told me not to. I removed obstacles I pretended didn't exist. I made it possible to stay. Before staying became a fight, then I did something harder. I faced the paperwork, not exciting paperwork, not rewarding paperwork, the kind people avoid because it forces you to admit you're not immortal. I put everything in one place, not for me, for the people who would otherwise have to guess. I decided what I wanted, and just as important, what I didn't. That decision alone changed everything. Because once you decide early, you remove panic from the equation, and panic is what hands your life over to strangers. I didn't stop there. I looked at my habits, not to optimize them, to defend them. I kept moving, not to be fit, to remain inconvenient, to remind my body that gravity hadn't won yet. I kept learning, not because I needed new information, but because curiosity keeps you human. The moment your world shrinks to a single room, you're already halfway gone. And I stayed connected, even when it was easier not to, especially then, because loneliness is quiet, and quiet makes people disappear faster than illness. None of this made me younger. That's not the point. It made me present. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. If you wait until you need help, you've waited too long to choose how it looks. Arthur didn't choose his ending. Not because he didn't care, because he postponed the decision to a future that never arrived. I visit his old house sometimes. It's empty now, still standing, prepared too late. I'm still in mine, not because I beat time, but because I stopped pretending it would be gentle. If you're listening to me and thinking, I'll deal with that later, that thought should scare you, not because something bad will happen tomorrow, but because later is where choice goes to die. Here's my advice, not as a warning, as a gift. Decide while you still can. Prepare while you're still strong. Speak while your voice still carries weight. Don't wait to protect your dignity. Dignity is not granted at the end. It's defended long before. One day you'll be old, if you're lucky. And when that day comes, You'll either live inside decisions you made yourself or inside decisions made for you. I'm 89 now. I wake up in my own bed. I choose when the lights go out. I live inside my own life. And that didn't happen by accident. It happened because I refused to wait. I'm tired now. Listen carefully. Freedom doesn't disappear overnight. It erodes while you look away. So don't look away. Not yet.